On the Health Watch, 7 people have now died as part of a nationwide Listeria outbreak. It's been linked to a line of ready-to-eat pasta meals.
That box of pasta sitting in your pantry right now might have already killed someone. Between August 2024 and January 2025, pasta had caused 6 deaths and hospitalized 27 people across 18 states. And most people didn't even know which brand was killing them because the contaminated pasta was hidden inside those convenient frozen meals your family eats for dinner. I dug through FDA recalls, lab test results, and court documents to find out which pasta brands are poisoning American families. What I found will change how you shop forever. In the next few minutes, I'm exposing 10 deadly pasta brands you should avoid. And stay tuned till the end, because I'll reveal 4 safer alternatives that won't put your family in the hospital. Let's get into it, starting with a brand that seems safe on the surface. 10. Simply Nature, Aldi Organic. This brand promises clean ingredients with that USDA organic seal right on the front. You're paying 50% to 100% more than conventional pasta, specifically to avoid pesticides and chemicals. Except independent testing has found glyphosate residues in its organic pasta products. Here's what they don't tell you about that organic label. USDA organic certification means pesticides weren't intentionally applied during growing, but it doesn't guarantee zero residues. Glyphosate contamination creeps into organic products through 2 pathways: drift from neighboring conventional fields spraying Roundup, and contaminated processing equipment. The Environmental Working Group has repeatedly documented glyphosate in organic wheat and oat products across multiple brands. But Simply Nature has an additional problem beyond chemical residues. The pasta itself falls apart during cooking. Multiple consumer reports describe the same structural failures plaguing Aldi's conventional pasta lines. Farfall bow ties that disintegrate into fragments. Penne that turns to mush even when pulled shy of al dente. Broken pieces inside. Unopened packages. So you're paying double the price for organic certification, getting trace pesticide contamination anyway, and receiving pasta that can't survive the cooking process. The organic label made you feel safe. It shouldn't have. At least this brand isn't actively poisoning people with deadly bacteria, which brings us to our next brand. 9. Mama Mancini's. That wholesome Italian grandmother name. Family recipes, stuffed shells that promise authentic Italian comfort food. Except in November 2024, Mama Mancini's recalled over 100 cases of their stuffed shells because of potential Listeria monocytogenes contamination. This is the same bacteria that killed 10 people in the Boar's Head deli meat outbreak just months earlier. Here's what gets me. The recall happened after the entire food industry watched Boar's Head get absolutely destroyed with a massive Listeria outbreak. After 10 people died, after $7 million pounds of deli meat got pulled from shelves, after. The CDC issued nationwide warnings about Listeria in ready-to-eat foods. And somehow, Mama Mancini's, manufactured by Joseph Epstein Food Enterprises, still ended up with contaminated products heading towards store shelves nationwide. The recalled products included both their own branded Mama Mancini's stuffed shells with sauce and mozzarella cheese, and versions sold through Hungry Root meal subscriptions. Over 100 cases total across both brands. Good thing they caught the contamination during distribution before products reached consumers. Nobody got sick. Nobody died. But the fact that their quality control failed during a period of heightened industry scrutiny shows systematic problems in their sanitation protocols. When you buy stuffed pasta, you're trusting that the facility making it follows strict protocols because one contamination point spreads bacteria through the entire production line. But at least they caught it before anyone got hurt. The next brand wasn't so careful. 8. Divella. Now we cross the ocean to Italy. Divella has been making pasta since 1890. Over 130 years of Italian heritage. The packaging features Italian flags and traditional designs. You see made in Italy and assume you're getting pasta made with Italian wheat grown in Italian sunshine. You're paying premium prices because authentic Italian quality is worth it, right? Except in 2024, the Italian consumer magazine Il Salvagente tested 20 popular spaghetti brands and found glyphosate contamination in 7 of them, including Divella. Italian pasta companies import over 2.42 billion pounds of wheat from Canada every single year. Why Canada? Because Canadian wheat is cheaper, and Canadian farmers spray glyphosate directly on wheat right before harvest as a drying agent in a practice called desiccation. They spray Roundup directly on the wheat to make it dry faster so they can harvest it sooner. This significantly increases glyphosate residues in the finished grain, which then end up in your pasta. So when you buy Divella thinking you're getting authentic Italian pasta, what you're actually getting is Canadian wheat sprayed with herbicide, shipped across the ocean to Italy, turned into pasta in an Italian factory, and sold back to you at premium prices with an Italian flag on the box. The label says made in Italy. It doesn't say the wheat is from Canada. It doesn't mention the glyphosate. You only discover this when independent consumer groups run tests and publish results. Other Italian brands caught in the same testing included Garofalo and Romo, proving this is an industry-wide deception. But imported pasta with hidden pesticides is nothing compared to what American brands are doing with synthetic chemicals, which leads us to our next brand. 7. Colavita. Colavita takes Italian deception even further. This brand started in Molise, Italy back in 1938 as a family olive oil business. They expanded into pasta in the 1990s and immediately targeted the American market with premium imported positioning. The label says imported from Italy and product of Italy and 100% durum wheat semolina. Then you flip the box over and read the actual ingredient list: enriched semolina, niacin, thiamine mononitrate, riboflavin, folic acid, ferrous sulfate. Those last 5 ingredients are synthetic B vitamins, the same chemical additives found in cheap American enriched pasta. Why would imported Italian pasta contain American-style synthetic enrichment? Because Colavita is manufacturing pasta specifically for the American market, and they know Americans expect fortified products. Here's what that enrichment process actually means. They take durum wheat and refine it, stripping away the bran and germ that contain natural nutrients. Then they chemically add petroleum-derived synthetic vitamins back in, to replace what processing destroyed. Because American regulations require enrichment after you strip out the natural nutrients through processing. Real Italian pasta brands like Rusticella d'Abruzzo and Citaro don't add synthetic vitamins. Their ingredient lists say durum wheat semolina and water. 2 ingredients, that's it. Because they're not refining the wheat and rebuilding it in a laboratory. But you're paying $2.50 per pound for Colavita when you're actually getting refined wheat with lab-created vitamins added back, manufactured in Italy specifically for American consumers who don't know any better. The Italian factory location is real, but the Italian quality you're paying for is marketing fiction. At least Colavita's deception is on the ingredient label. The next brand hides its problems behind an even friendlier face. But before we get to the top 6 brands, hit that like button right now, because what's coming next is even worse. And subscribe so you don't miss which brands are lying to your face. Also, tell me in the comments, what's your favorite pasta brand? I'd like to know. Now let's get back to number 6. Number 6. Barilla, US-made versions. A brand that 72 million Americans trust without question. That blue box sitting in your pantry right now. Barilla is the best-selling pasta brand in America, and that massive market share is built on one of the most successful marketing deceptions in the food industry. Because the Barilla you're buying isn't actually what you think it is. Barilla was founded in Parma, Italy in 1877, and for over a century they made pasta the traditional way, using bronze dyes, Italian durum wheat, and slow-drying methods. Then they expanded to America and discovered something beautiful. Americans don't know what good pasta tastes like, so they can sell inferior products through brand recognition alone. The US-made Barilla, manufactured in Iowa and New York, uses Teflon dyes instead of bronze dyes. That's plastic extrusion instead of metal. Why is this important? Bronze dyes create rough, matte texture with microscopic ridges that grab sauce like Velcro. Teflon dyes create smooth, shiny, plastic-like surfaces that make sauce slide right off. You make carbonara with US Barilla and watch the eggs pool at the bottom of the bowl while the pasta sits there naked and slippery. That's not your cooking skills failing. That's Teflon dyes doing exactly what they're designed to do. Create smooth pasta that's cheaper and faster to manufacture. But the deception goes deeper. US-made Barilla uses enriched semolina, which means refined wheat with synthetic vitamins added back. Niacin, thiamine mononitrate, riboflavin, folic acid, ferrous sulfate. The same petroleum-derived chemicals we just talked about with Colavita. Meanwhile, Italian-made Barilla sold in Europe uses bronze dyes and isn't enriched with synthetic vitamins. It's a completely different product with the same brand name. So Americans see the Italian heritage marketing, the Italian flag on the box, the Italian family story, and assume they're getting authentic Italian quality. You're not. But synthetic vitamins and Teflon dyes are one thing. The next brand actually sold bacteria to their customers. Number 5, Kroger Home Chef. Your neighborhood Kroger seems safe, doesn't it? The store you've shopped at for years. The deli counter where you grab quick dinner solutions. The Home Chef brand that promises restaurant-quality meals you just heat and eat. All of it was contaminated with deadly Listeria during the 2024 to 2025 outbreak that killed 6 people and hospitalized 27 others. Kroger had to recall their Home Chef heat and eat chicken fettuccine alfredo in 12.5-ounce packages. The contamination came from Fresh Realm Inc., the supplier providing pasta to multiple major retailers. But the Home Chef recall was just the beginning, because between August 29 and October 2, 2025, Kroger's deli departments across their entire family of stores were making fresh bow tie and penny pasta salads on site using contaminated pasta from the same supplier. Every Kroger banner was affected. Fred Meyer, Ralph's, King Soopers, Smith's, Fry's, QFC, Harris Teeter. If you bought deli pasta salad from any of these stores during that 5-week window, you were eating pasta contaminated with the Outbreak strain of Listeria monocytogenes. The CDC confirmed it through genetic testing. Customers buy those salads thinking they're getting fresh, safe food from their trusted neighborhood grocer. Some of those customers ended up in the hospital. At least one died, but Kroger isn't alone in selling contaminated pasta from Fresh Realm, and the next retailer has an even bigger problem. Number 4. Trader Joe's prepared pasta. Trader Joe's becomes something of a lifestyle. People drive 30 minutes out of their way to shop there. They trust the quirky branding, the Hawaiian shirt employees, the "we test everything" reputation. Well, Trader Joe's Cajun style, blackened chicken breast fettuccine, Alfredo in 16-ounce plastic trays, became part of the same outbreak that killed 6 people. The contamination came from Fresh Realm's pasta supply. Again. To make this worse, this is the 3rd major food safety scandal at Trader Joe's in 2 years. They've had multiple recalls for Listeria, Salmonella, and other contaminations across different product categories. At some point, a pattern stops being coincidence and starts being evidence of systemic quality control failures. Trader Joe's is either not vetting their suppliers properly, not conducting adequate testing on incoming products, or not responding quickly enough when contamination is detected. 6 families lost someone they loved because multiple retailers, including Trader Joe's, didn't catch the problem until people were already in the hospital. Your loyalty to that brand nearly killed you, but at least Trader Joe's didn't sell the single largest volume of contaminated pasta, which brings us to our next brand. Number 3. Walmart Market-Side. Walk into any Walmart and head to the deli section. You'll see rows of market-side prepared meals promising convenient, affordable, ready-to-eat dinners. The market-side grilled chicken Alfredo with fettuccine looks like every other prepared pasta meal. Plastic container, colorful label, reasonable price. Except this particular product became one of the deadliest pasta items in recent American history. Walmart Market-Side was directly implicated in the Listeria outbreak that killed 6 people and hospitalized 27 others across 18 states. But Walmart's contamination is worse than Kroger's and Trader Joe's in both the timeline and scale. The outbreak started in August 2024. Walmart didn't issue their first recall until June 2025. That's 10 months of contaminated pasta sitting in Walmart delis while people got sick and died. And the recalls kept expanding. First, it was just the 12.3-ounce grilled chicken Alfredo with fettuccine. Then they added the 32.8-ounce family size. Then in September 2025, they had to recall the market-side linguine with beef meatballs and marinara sauce because genetic testing confirmed it contained the same outbreak strain. Even after the first recall went out, contaminated products with best buy dates through October 2025 were still being sold in stores. Walmart is America's largest grocery chain. When their prepared foods are contaminated, the exposure is massive. How many people bought those market-side pasta meals between August 2024 and June 2025 before the first recall? How many ate contaminated food and got sick, but never connected their illness to the pasta? How many contaminated meals were purchased after the recall but before stores pulled them from shelves? At least one person died after eating Walmart market-side pasta. But as bad as Walmart's contamination was, the next brand poisoned people with chemicals at levels never before recorded in human food. Number 2. Banza. The Banza chickpea pasta with 11 grams of protein, gluten-free, only 4 ingredients, is endorsed by influencers and health coaches across social media. The bright orange box promises clean eating and better nutrition. But in 2024, independent testing revealed Banza contained the highest glyphosate contamination ever recorded in human food. 2,176.41 parts per billion of glyphosate. Let me put that number in context for you. The European Union sets maximum residue levels for glyphosate in food at 10 parts per billion. Banza had 287 times that amount. The testing was conducted by moms across America and verified by an EPA-registered laboratory using standard testing protocols. As we already know, glyphosate is the active ingredient in Roundup herbicide. The World Health Organization's International Agency for Research on Cancer classifies it as a probable human carcinogen. Bayer has paid out over $10 billion in settlements to people who developed cancer after Roundup exposure. And you're eating record-breaking amounts of it when you buy Banza. Here's why chickpea pasta has such extreme glyphosate levels. Chickpeas are heavily sprayed during growth to control weeds. Then, after harvest, processors use glyphosate as a desiccant to dry the chickpeas faster. The herbicide gets absorbed into the plant material and concentrates as moisture evaporates. By the time those chickpeas are ground into flour and formed into pasta, the glyphosate residues are locked into the product at levels that shatter every previous record. The sick irony is almost poetic. People buy Banza specifically because they're trying to be healthier, they're avoiding wheat gluten, they're seeking higher protein, and they're feeding their families the most contaminated pasta on the American market, all of them ingesting glyphosate at levels 287 times higher than European safety limits. After the scandal broke and testing results went public, Banza scrambled to get CleanScan certification in late 2024. They now claim their products are tested and meet safety standards. But that certification came after years of selling contaminated pasta to trusting customers. Glyphosate exposure causes cancer that takes years to develop. How many Banza customers are walking around right now with developing tumors because they trusted chickpea pasta marketing? We won't know for years, but we do know that Banza sold the most contaminated pasta ever recorded, which brings us to the absolute worst pasta brand in America. Number 1. Nate's Fine Foods. You've never heard of Nate's Fine Foods, most people haven't. They don't sell directly to consumers, they operate in the shadows of the food supply chain as a manufacturer supplying pre-cooked pasta to other brands. And that invisibility made them the deadliest pasta brand in America. Nate's Fine Foods supplied the contaminated pasta at the center of the 2024 to early 2025 Listeria outbreak that killed 6 people, hospitalized 27 others, and caused 1 fetal loss. This was a massive sanitation failure that spread deadly bacteria for nearly a year before being identified as the source. The contaminated pasta from Nate's Fine Foods ended up in Walmart market side products, Kroger home chef meals, Trader Joe's prepared pasta, Albertsons deli items, Sprouts Farmers Market products, Giant Eagle store brands, and multiple other retailers. Nate's could manufacture cheap pasta at scale, so the major retailers bought from them. Nobody checked if their sanitation protocols were adequate. Nobody verified that their testing procedures could catch contamination. Nobody asked if cost savings were worth the risk. The timeline reveals how catastrophic this failure was. The outbreak started in August 2024. The first illnesses were reported in September. By October, people were being hospitalized. In November, the first deaths occurred, but it took until December and January for investigators to trace the contamination back to Nate's Fine Foods through genetic testing of the Listeria strain. By the time recalls started going out in June 2025, the bacteria had been spreading for 10 months. 6 people died. 27 people were hospitalized, some fighting for their lives in intensive care. 1 pregnant woman lost her baby. Hundreds more likely got sick but never sought medical treatment, or never connected their illness to contaminated pasta. When you bought that Walmart market-side chicken fettuccine Alfredo, you didn't know you were eating Nate's Fine Foods pasta. When you grabbed that Trader Joe's Cajun-style blackened chicken breast fettuccine Alfredo, you didn't know Nate's manufactured the pasta inside. That invisibility is exactly what makes them the most dangerous pasta brand in America. You can't avoid what you can't see, and Nate's Fine Foods has built their business model on staying invisible while their contaminated pasta kills people. Alright, I know that's a lot of bad news, but not all pasta brands are like these. 10. Here are 4 brands that are actually doing it right. These companies have third-party testing, transparent supply chains, and track records proving they care about more than quarterly profits. But first, if this video made you want to stop eating pasta entirely, hit that subscribe button and tell me in the comments, is your favorite pasta brand on this list? And if it is, would you keep buying it? Now on to the brands not trying to kill you. Number 1. Jovial Organic Pasta. Jovial isn't just USDA organic. They're glyphosate residue-free certified by an independent third party, which means every batch is tested and verified to contain less than detectable limits of glyphosate. They use ancient grain varieties like einkorn that naturally have lower pesticide absorption. And they've published their test results publicly so you can verify the claims yourself instead of trusting marketing. You're paying $4 to $5 per pound. But you're getting actual certified purity, not just an organic label that might still contain pesticide residues from drift or equipment contamination. If you're dealing with gluten sensitivity or just want verified clean pasta, Jovial delivers measurable safety. Number 2. Rusticella d'Abruzzo. This is what Italian pasta is supposed to be. Family owned for 3 generations in Abruzzo, Italy. Made with Italian-grown organic durum wheat. Bronze dyes that create rough, porous texture. 50+ hours of slow drying at low temperatures, and only 2 ingredients: organic durum wheat semolina and water. The texture is dramatically different from industrial pasta. It's rough and grabs sauce like Velcro. The flavor has depth because slow drying preserves what high-heat industrial processing destroys. You're paying $5 to $6 per pound, but you're getting actual artisanal pasta made using traditional methods. Use it for simple preparations where pasta is the star. Aglio e olio, cacio e pepe, carbonara. Let the pasta quality shine instead of drowning it in heavy sauce. Number 3. Lundberg Organic Rice Pasta. If you need gluten-free pasta that actually works, Lundberg is the answer. They've been making organic rice products since 1937 as a third-generation family farm. California-grown organic rice. No glyphosate because rice isn't sprayed as a desiccant the way wheat and chickpeas are. Rice pasta behaves differently than wheat pasta. The texture is slightly firmer and chewier, but it reheats well, which chickpea pasta doesn't, and it holds together during cooking, which is the main complaint with most gluten-free options. You're paying $3.50 to $4 per pound for certified organic gluten-free pasta from a family farm with transparent growing practices. If you have celiac disease and can't risk gluten contamination, this is the reliable choice. 4. Granoro Dedicato. This Italian brand earned pesticide-free and glyphosate-free certification from DNVGL, an international third-party certifier. That's tested and verified documentation from field to package. They use 100% Apulian wheat grown in southern Italy, where it matures naturally in Mediterranean sunshine without chemical desiccation. The certification process is rigorous. They test soil before planting, monitor during growth, test harvested wheat, and test finished pasta. Every batch has documentation proving zero glyphosate contamination. And that's it! 10 pasta brands that could kill you. 6 people dead from contaminated pasta. Record-breaking glyphosate levels. Low-quality pasta. The brands you trusted most were the ones poisoning you. All that changes today because now you know which brands are lying to you. And for better brands, you are actually safe. So check your pantry. If you see any of these 10 brands, throw them out right now. Don't risk it. Your family deserves better than bacteria and herbicides in their dinner. If this video made you change your dinner plans, like and share it with any pasta lover you know. And subscribe so you don't miss the next food investigation where we expose what these companies are hiding in your meals. Also, tell me in the comments, which of these brands shocked you the most? And do you think they've really changed after being exposed? I'd like to know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.